Coming up, we're going to talk to the CEO and co-founder of Deepki. It's an ESG data intelligence platform that helps real estate companies achieve net zero, a touch point in terms of the commercial real estate space that, of course, has faced its own challenges. That is coming up next. This is Bloomberg. Welcome back. Now, the real estate sector is facing tighter environmental regulations, rising energy prices, of course, and an increasing preference from customers for green buildings. Joining me now is Vincent Bryant, CEO and co-founder of Deepki. It's an ESG data intelligence platform that supports the real estate sector's transition towards net zero with exposure across, 60 different nations. This is a tech company that has raised about $180 million US dollars, works with the likes of Generali and Ricks, so broad exposure, and also being featured in GP Bullhound's AllStars event this week, taking place in London, that kind of puts a spotlight on some of the most interesting tech companies across Europe. Vincent, thank you for joining us. Talk to us about the commercial real estate sector, how much pain you're seeing across this sector in an environment of higher energy costs, higher rates, of course, in terms of interest rates, and the need to transition around more sustainable building structures.
Hello, Tom. Thank you for having me. Yes, we see mainly four reasons why real estate companies improve their assets' sustainabilities. One is complying with the growing demanding local regulation. Another one is accessing to capital, especially lenders and debt funds. Another one is avoiding brand discounting. And the last one is increasing asset attractiveness. And Deepki recently undertook a survey amongst several hundreds of real estate asset managers. And this survey revealed that nearly all organizations are facing a stranded asset time bomb. Nearly 90% of them said that they have a high level of financial risk from stranded assets. And 3 in 5 acknowledge that in excess of 30% of their commercial real estate are currently stranded.
A stranded asset time bomb. What is the gap then, Vincent, between the companies, the building, the commercial real estate, and those assets that are compliant and those that are yet to be compliant? What is the gap and how do you close that?
Yeah, it's interesting to see that in terms of industry sectors respondents, the survey highlighted that those facing the greatest risk of stranded assets are first retail, followed closely by industrial sectors, and then offices. And we see that retrofitting buildings to improve their energy efficiency and sustainability is one of the most effective strategies to prevent these assets from becoming stranded. There are, 10 types of actions you can implement in order to reduce energy consumptions and reduce carbon emissions. Retrofitting can include insulation upgrades, incorporating renewable energy sources, installing more efficient and intelligent systems, amongst several things. But by improving the energy performance and sustainability credentials of these buildings, owners can preserve and even enhance asset value, answering these properties to remain competitive, especially in this increasing environmentally conscious market.
Okay, that's interesting. So that's making the case for putting in place some of these actions to improve the sustainability of your buildings. Look, Vincent, there's been a bit of a pushback, hasn't there? Blowback to the whole ESG theme. Are you as a startup here in Europe, are you feeling that at all?
Yes, we can say that we can split the market in two categories. You have people who have deep pockets and they keep investing, especially CapEx, in order to refurbish assets. Whereas you have other investment management companies that need to ask money from their LPs or from lenders. And these guys, they tend to stop investing due to the low liquidity, less arbitrage, and less money on the market. However, they both categories need to comply with regulation, and it pushes them to actually keep looking at accurate data and making the right decisions, at least to comply with local regulations.
How do you think about the US market? How important is that for you and the team, Vincent? And what is your strategy there?
Actually, the US market shows a growing concern and interest in that topic. It's interesting to see that it's not led by the regulation, but more by the financial efficiency and the money they can make and profits they can make thanks to refurbishment. And we see also there are two categories of the companies. You have, in the US, the topic is very polarized. And so you have a lot of companies that are very much anti-ESG. But the other parts of the market, which usually are US HQ'd companies with global operations, they tend to be very much in favor of European standards and to implement retrofit actions in order to get amazingly financially interesting assets. And this is interesting to see that when you look at our company, Deepki, we see a growing interest in that topic. And today, almost 20% of our revenue comes from the US because there is more and more customers that are willing to implement actions right away.
Okay, interesting. 20% of revenues coming from the US. Vincent, is the business profitable? What's the timeline around profitability if you're not profitable already? And what are your IPO plans?
Actually, over the past 10 years, we completed 3 highly successful fundraising. Last one was in 2022, and we raised overall 200 million euros. But after heavy investments, Deepki just came back to break even, and we always come back to break even before a new round because it's very important for us to have a healthy business model and to make sure that we will use this money in order to grow the business and also to help our clients deliver impact at scale for our customers.
Okay, Vincent Bryant, CEO and co-founder of Deepki. Thank you very much indeed, with a touch point there in terms of commercial real estate and that need to create more sustainable buildings and the valuation gap as well that has opened up, a ticking time bomb. One of the companies selected for GP Bullhound's AllStars event that kicks off on Thursday. This week on Daybreak Europe, we will be featuring a slew of startups, and including GP Bullhound itself, Luminance. GP Bullhound is, of course, an investment bank involved in backing a number of these companies and behind this event rather than the startup itself, but also Faculty AI, really fascinating. Angie Ma, that conversation as well coming up later this week. Those conversations across the show this week. Stay with us.